Just briefly introduce what I'm going to do today. Previously I've written a lot about the Bosnian experience. My first book, Refugee, deals with the experience of Bosnian diaspora in Sweden. And in my latest book, which came out in April, Sooner Than I Have, I revisited Bosnia and the experiences of Bosnia before the war and during the war. But in my new book, I want to move away from Bosnia and try to take as a challenge to write people who are sort of the other to me, people who we hear a lot about, but just want to try to give voice to different people. And this is a novel in progress, and I want to share it with you, a couple of pages. It is about, it's called The True, the Good, the Beautiful, and it's about a Palestinian boy who is adopted by an American nurse, and 16 years old, he embarks on a road trip back to Palestine with his twin sisters to find his biological mother. So the idea is that his story is not told by himself or a third-person narrative, but by many voices, people whom he has met in his life. So they are all telling his story and their own stories. I begin with an epigraph from Paul Gilroy, The Black Atlantic. They had to fight, often through their spirituality, to hold on to the unity of ethics and politics, sundered from each other by modernity's insistence that the true, the good, and the beautiful had distinct origins and belonged to different domains of knowledge. Begins the prologue, narrated by the protagonist. I am a natural-born stowaway. My mother Rachel stole me from the Gaza Strip in spring 1985, bore across plenty of borders, and brought me to the high and proud mountains of North Carolina, to the virgin misty sunsets and the merry company of playful raccoons that lie on our family porch like a bunch of sweaty refugees on Ellis Island. My father Jacob, while his eyes could still see, would always say to the coons that nibbled food from his big palms, "Welcome to the promised porch." I imagine that is how he greeted me when Mom opened the green duffel bag and exposed my ripping nose. I bet he started smiling right after he'd wiped away the surprise from his face, the way he'd wipe off sour milk from his upper lip. My twin sisters, Helen and Catherine, must have pushed him aside and taken me out of the bag before any explanations were demanded and met with proper answers, before tears had fallen, hugs exchanged, kisses given or taken. I will now go straight to the part told by narrated by his Palestinian mother. According to Mariam, I came to the Gaza hospital for abortion. The American nurse said, "I'm pro-life." What did she mean? Did she mean I'm pro-death since I was Palestinian? Maybe it was just a weird way of saying she wouldn't do it. She didn't have to speak. Her palm, outstretched to stop me from entering the hospital, was clear enough. As I walked away, I turned only to scowl at her. My stomach hurt as if the baby was already kicking. I kept walking secure on my element. I was born and raised in ruins. The adjacent houses were split in half, roof to roof, with wet bathtubs and lavabos hanging over crumbling floors, and bedrooms gaping at me with all the intimate lingerie scattered everywhere. I said that the house-foot basement was blasted open. It looked like a huge mouth breathing out hot, spicy air. On the remaining walls, there were ancient Roman decorations. I stepped into the dust raised by a passing tank and stood silent long enough for the dust to settle like cinders. I crunched a bottle of pink perfume with my oversized boot. I treaded on a family portrait. A fat mustachioed man with skinny wife and 6 children. 6. And I was already trying to kill my thirst. What could I do? His father is... I know I wanted to get it. I went into the small cemetery where my parents were buried, where my brother was. I tried to refrain from crying. Some old woman told me the tears of the loved ones burn the souls of the dead. I hadn't cried over Dad and Yusuf. Mom had done it for 6 months when they killed her, as if I was not worth living for, as if I was dead too. I wanted to slap her face before they sank her into this hole. I refused to recite WALTIC for her soul. Her death in tears was suicide, a treason, a failure to live and love. I sat down between the 3 graves in the middle of a triangle. The soil was hot, but I imagined it was cold 6 feet under. I thought of digging up Yusuf to see if it was true that the corpses of the Shaheed did not rot. Imam Hamid said, on the judgment day, the blood of the martyr will shine like gold and smell like musk. I wonder if Yusuf smells nice now. 3 soldiers in civil vehicles drove by. The 4th worker stopped and the bony-faced man spoke through a megaphone. Leave this area immediately. All right, I whispered and fainted. 7 months later, I wished I'd spent all these months in a coma. In a way, I have been in a coma, but I've been able to see too much, hear too much, scream way too much. Yet every single day has been the same. At first, I was counting weeks a proper meal, since only my stomach grew. It was the only sign of change. The red stretch marks were like those rings in cut-down old trees that told you how old the tree was when it died. I thought there was at least a week or 2 between my red marks. Eventually, the daily kicks felt like a prolonged countdown, an hour between each kick. I had a gut feeling it would be a boy. I walked back to the graves. The stone with Yusuf's name was still intact. I bent down to tell him, Yusuf, I'm going to name him after you, even though he's wild. I hope your name will calm him down. Maybe he'll inherit your mildness and your intoxicating love. The earth didn't shake. No voice came from the grave. The sound struck me in the scruff of my head like a gun handle. I fell on my knees. I breathed heavily, looking over the Gaza skyline. There was a white streak, like a thread-thin cloud that made me look at the town, and the sky was stitched together by a clumsy tailor. The baby was turning. I bit my lips until they bled. Tears fell out of my eyes, but I was not crying. I wiped my lips and saw 2 old men running towards me. They panicked. I yelled, you with the cap, come here. He leaned over me. Now behind my back. I leaned on his knees and shot up my arms to grab his shoulders. Hold my arms. He clenched my arms and pulled back. As if he was pumping the baby out of me, it glided out into the hands of the toothless man that smelled of garlic. Such a nice smell. Such a nice smell on a man. I will now the next shot is